Welcome into PFF HQ. Austin Gayle here with senior analyst Sam Monson. We are talking the NFL's Iron Man. I'm not talking Tony Stark or the Avengers. We're talking players that have played the most snaps in the NFL this past season, starting on the offensive side of the ball. At a position where you don't see players play a ton of snaps. Christian McCaffrey at running back playing a lot of snaps next year, over 95% of the offensive snaps. Talk to me about McCaffrey and what he did over that snap count.
Yeah, it was incredible watching Christian McCaffrey last year. There was a period of the season where he'd missed like a handful of snaps, like fewer than 10. Single-digit snaps for a running back in today's NFL is absolutely insane. People tend to measure the workload from a running back in terms of touches, whether it's carries, whether it's carries plus receptions, the amount of times they're actually getting the ball, but nobody really focuses how much they're on the field. And Christian McCaffrey's workload from that point of view was completely unmatched compared with any other running back, and really right up there with the highest workloads in terms of snap counts we've ever seen from a running back over the last decade. So that's the interesting thing for him. Even though he wasn't necessarily touching the ball an incredible amount of time, he was on the field almost every single snap for the Panthers.
And I'm glad you spoke to that. That involves running a lot of routes, more routes than other running backs, more times in pass protection. He's doing so much more in any one game than other running backs do. And to see what he could produce when he got the ball with that heavy of a snap count is pretty incredible. Staying on the offensive side of the ball, going to Minnesota, Adam Thielen, another position where you'll start to see guys rotate a little bit more because you're running so many routes and it's a long-winded position. He still was one of the Iron Men this past season.
Yeah, which is really interesting for Thielen because he's, primarily a slot receiver. He's the guy that plays inside a lot for the Vikings. The majority of his damage is done inside, but he plays almost every single snap. So when they are in those two receiver sets, he's still out there as a primary receiver, then moves inside when they go to some of these nickel formations or these three wide receiver sets. He's the guy that kicks into the slot, but he played over 1,000 slots for the Vikings as their slot receiver, which is a really interesting dynamic to watch unfold.
Absolutely. Going to defense, I want to talk J.J. Watt. And I think him being an Iron Man this past season speaks largely to his health. This is a guy that's battled injuries in previous years. For him to turn in a season with as many snaps as he did is truly incredible. And he played at a high level. He returned to an elite overall grade this past season. I really think he's getting away from those injuries and could be a dominant force in the next 2-3 years for sure.
It really is an amazing season for Watt. Not only did he get back, but he played above 90 in terms of overall PFF grade. Not quite back to where he was at his very, very best. He's still a couple of grading points away from that. But to get out there, to play at that kind of level, and to play over 1,000 snaps. There aren't that many edge rushers that play over 1,000 snaps in a season. Most of them are way below that. Watt not only got back healthy, but played that amount at that high level after breaking his kneecap. This was a significant injury for J.J. Watt. Got back, was fully healthy for a season, and almost back to his very best. I'm kind of excited to see what 2019 holds for Watt, given the year he just had.
Another edge defender on this list who played a ton of snaps with injury history is Dee Ford. When you see that he's injured, he hasn't been able to play at the level we saw this past season. A fully healthy season for him, an Iron Man season for him, and he earns an elite grade. Dee Ford, now in San Francisco, coming off one of the best years of his career.
Yeah, and also, a durability thing, not just injuries, but we tend to associate those Iron Men with the bigger, stronger players. A J.J. Watt up to 290 pounds. Dee Ford is a tiny, lightweight speed edge rusher. Those are not guys that are supposed to hold up over a season playing over 1,000 snaps. Dee Ford played more snaps than any other edge rusher in the NFL last season. That in and of itself is kind of amazing, given that was his career year.
Yeah, you can only expect big things from him. Opposite of Nick Bosa in San Francisco, I think that edge tandem could be very, very good in 2019. Going to one of my favorite players in the NFL, an Iron Man this past season, the president of New York, Jamal Adams, a great player, similar to Derwin James in that he plays a ton of snaps. He plays a ton of snaps at a bunch of different positions. He's an Iron Man at box safety, free safety. He played slot corner, and he rushed off the edge. It's crazy to see how many snaps he played, including how many responsibilities he had, and still earning the grades he did.
Yeah, that's the thing with Jamal Adams, is he's basically an ever-present on that defense. A lot of defensive players in the back seven are essentially the same thing in terms of being ever-present. They're supposed to be out there every single snap. They're only going to be missing it, in weird personnel formations, or if they get hurt, banged up, have to come out for a couple of plays. But Jamal Adams' versatility is what makes him a true Iron Man. That he's almost like a throwback to the days where guys on defense would play anywhere they were supposed to. They would just roll out there, pick a position somewhere they just needed to be to help their defense out. Jamal Adams is the guy that lets that defense do whatever it wants. He'll line up all over the field. I've seen him split out as a true cornerback. You've seen him rush off the edge. He does it all and does it place keep never coming off the field.
Man, Jamal Adams is so good at so many different things. Same with Derwin James, and they're both super young. We're really in the presence of some of the better safeties I think the NFL is going to have over the next few years. For more content like this, go ahead and subscribe to PFF's YouTube channel, or go ahead and go to the site at pff.com.